All right, hello, happy Wednesday. How are you today? This is Mary Beth Fleming, and I have another exciting interview for you today. Yesterday, I had the delight of interviewing a dear colleague and friend, Camille Ferguson, and today I'm going to interview my sister. So many of you know my sister and I are extremely close. We have a lot of shared passions, a lot of shared missions, and we had been living together for about 6 months, and previous to that living in the same town for about 3 years, and then just recently she moved to California and I stayed in Colorado. So we are apart and I miss her dearly, so I'm super excited to bring her on. Let me just see, there she is. Yay. Hi, Rita Jean. And let me get her on here with us. There we go.
Hey, yay! I miss you so much.
I know, I was just telling everyone how much I miss you and that I needed to do this interview for my own, like just to see you.
I know, me too. I was looking forward to it. Same reason. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Doing.
Amazing. I just got back from the beach, so really good. Went rollerblading this morning and running on the beach and found some sweet new spots.
Awesome. Well, yay. I'm excited. I'm really excited to just interview you and talk about your growth and your business and how I've seen you really move from being like an entrepreneur, free spirit. You have a lot of passions, but I've seen you kind of direct those into a vehicle where you're really like living your best life, living your best self. And I'm really excited. I'd love for you to just share with everyone why you had the urge to move to California and work on these regenerative projects you're doing, and just your dedication and excitement for regenerative business in general.
Aw, thanks, Mary. Love you. Well, yeah, I mean, Coco is Mary and I's sister, and her partner are working on this incredible project. They're working with the White Buffalo Foundation, and they're all, which is like regenerative agriculture and regenerative business. And then they're also in the fundraising process for 1,000-acre ranch over at Halama to really bring back these regenerative principles. And what that means is that you're actually improving ecosystems and restoring the land. And then when applied to business, regenerative business is such a big passion of mine because it's a lot of what Mary and I are doing. Is it's regenerative business basically is disrupting systems that are not working in a really and creating positive innovation. So I feel like business is one of the ways that we can actually make the biggest change in the world, and be part of solutions. So that's why I love the regenerative business. And then what Mary and I are doing is because we're actually being part of huge solutions, and seeing what the problems are and figuring out how to change those. So it's like on a planetary level, but it's also at a cultural level of like, how can we help people access their greatest potential? So that's kind of regenerative business. Is it's good for people, it's good for planet, and it's creating solutions.
Yeah, and what are some of these solutions that you offer through your endeavors?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think like one of my kind of favorite entrepreneurs or business people, an example is Yvon Chouinard, who created Patagonia, and he realized that one of the big problems of his industry, of the clothing industry, was all of the chemicals and pollutants and how bad it was for the environment. So he started using all recycled and organic cotton to, divest away from those chemical companies. And that's the same thing that I'm doing in my business. Is we really witnessed and realized that the chemical agricultural industry is one of the major downfalls, of our planet from an environmental perspective and of our health. And really, since the introduction of glyphosate, in the 70s into our industrial agriculture, we've just seen this downward spiral of our health, and this burst in chronic diseases, anything from autism to cancers, to neurological disorders, Parkinson's, all of it. And so what we're doing in our company is actually divesting from those chemicals and those chemical companies, and investing into organic and regenerative farmers. And I really truly believe that regenerative agriculture is a solution to our climate crisis. So being able to share the education and awareness around the regenerative movement, around regenerative agriculture and what that is, and how that actually is a solution to our climate crisis and our health crisis. From the climate perspective, regenerative agriculture is pulling CO2 emissions out of the atmosphere and storing it in the soil. Whereas that's not happening in chemical agriculture, because in chemical agriculture, you're actually uprooting the plants and replanting and doing monocultures, and all of that CO2 is actually releasing from the soil and being emitted into the atmosphere. So during harvest time, from the chemical agriculture industry, we see this massive influx of CO2 emissions that you can see from satellite. And it's kind of scary and crazy. But then when plants are at their highest peak, when, all farms like June and July, when we're growing a lot of foods, those plants are actually grabbing those CO2 emissions and taking it in through photosynthesis and bringing it into their roots and bringing it into the soil where it's stored safely, as a bank, as a CO2 bank. So then from a satellite perspective, we see the least amount of CO2 emissions. So if we incorporate these regenerative principles, we could actually be creating a bank for all these CO2 emissions. And then from a health perspective, we're just not getting the nutrients that we need at all, because food is picked unripe, and it's, in soils that are completely depleted. So people are just not finding the nutrition that they need. So again, regenerative agriculture is solving that problem as well, because you're actually replenishing the soil and replenishing the biome of the soil and the fungi and the bacteria, and creating more nutrients, which comes back to us. And we need that to function at any level, emotionally and physically, mentally.
Yeah,
So, yeah, go ahead.
good explanation. That was really well said. Um, so I know a lot of your desire and interest in regenerative business started from your own regenerative healing journey. And so can you kind of tell the audience how those two things come together, and how like one has fueled the other?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. They all have that kind of same root. But I was first introduced into regenerative healing by Dr. Robert Morse because, as Mary knows, I was working really hard to heal myself from a car accident that I was in when I was 19, and it was near death. I actually had the experience of leaving my body and choosing to come back because I felt like I still had a lot of life to live and a lot to share. It felt like very much a conscious choice to stay and live. But what that accident led to was quite a fair amount of suffering. Excuse me, I'm just choking here. But that suffering, it I was looking for solutions right and left. I was working with Western medicine. I was working with Eastern medicine. I was working with my body. I was working with my emotions. I was really hitting my healing from every angle imaginable, because I just wanted to get back to my own best self and my own peak performance, and just even to be of service, because I felt like I was I broke, 16 bones. I was in a wheelchair. I just felt like I wasn't able to be of service at my full capacity. I felt like I was almost even a burden, because it was so hard for me to do any of the things that I normally could do. Hi, Etienne. um, and so that was a really big goal of mine, of not only how can I get back to my own best self and best life where I'm happy and I'm healthy, but get to the point where then I can contribute. I have overflow, so I can contribute to others and really be of service in this life to people, to planet, and make a positive difference. And honestly, it's really hard to do that when you're not feeling your best. If you're just trying to get through the day, if you're in chronic pain, it's really hard to be of service. You're basically just trying to maintain, right? And so regenerative detoxification and healing with Dr. Robert Morse was like the only solution I found that actually helped me to regenerate my body, regenerate my spine, get fully out of chronic pain. And that was just game changer, because then all of a sudden my nervous system can relax and release, and I'm not exhausted physically, mentally, emotionally. I can actually look outside of myself and give to others in the way that is fulfilling, and then the ways that I wanted to all along, you know? So I think it's hard. I don't think people quite understand, maybe even just like the emotional drain it can be when you don't feel like you're living at your full potential. Um, and or in the ways that you want to serve your community around you, you know. Mm-hmm. So regenerative health is that solution for me, and was that solution for me, and continues to be, and continues just to be a huge deep passion of mine, because people are suffering unnecessarily at every level. I mean, I was told, you know, specialist after specialist after specialist and doctor and the top trained people in their profession, that I wasn't going to get back to normal life. I wasn't going to ever bike or ski or do any of these things, and that I should just expect to live with chronic pain. And I wasn't willing to settle for that. I wasn't willing to accept that as my truth, as my reality. So I had persistence and diligence, and I didn't give up. I mean, I just kept looking and kept looking and kept looking until I found a solution. So I love to empower others, because you know, I know just from an empathetic point of being there, I understand those struggles, and I don't want people to struggle unnecessarily, because we're not taught the solutions. You know, I feel like the solutions are pure and simple and really in alignment with nature, and it's something that anyone can do if they take the commitment and the diligence and the dedication and the time and the choice to do it. But I wish it was something that was taught in kindergarten, or that we could connect to on a daily basis, because they are simple solutions, but it's just understanding our own biology and our physiology and our chemistry, from a natural perspective. And the body's amazing and it can heal. And how that intertwines with my regenerative business is, it's the same principles. Like, why is the standard in society, you know, maybe becoming less so, but I would say the standard in society is having business models that are very extractive, both at a cultural, emotional level to the people that are working there. Like, you hear all the time of just people like trying to get out of their corporate job because it's soul sucking. Or you hear, you know, I just met the guy the other day and he's like, yeah, I'm in recovery from my corporate job and now I'm living my life, you know. And everyone has a different story. Some people love their jobs and whatnot, but what is that culture of regeneration? It's basically empowering people to live their best lives and to be creative and to be innovative. And rather than this kind of hierarchical thing of like top down, where you don't have your own creative expression, regenerative business is empowering everyone to be the CEO of their life, to live their best life, to get those critical thinking skills, and to be empowered in their personal mission. Because it's true, like, probably the number one thing in business that people are looking for is mission, or wanting to be part of something greater than themselves, or feel like they're contributing to something, you know, because that's fulfilling. That fulfills our deeper purpose. That makes us excited to get up and, you know, and go to work. So fulfilling that at like a cultural, emotional level, and then from like a practical level, how can we support people and planet? So rather than using extractionist methods that are depleting the planet or depleting our soils or pulling minerals out, and then this kind of consumer-based thing where we're just buying, buying, going, going, going. What is a business model that actually supports the health of the people and supports the health of the planet while making an income? Creating this income and impact is so crucial. It's the future of business. It's where we need to go in business, and it's where people are starting to look right now. And I just feel that I have the honor and blessing to kind of trailblaze a lot of these like regenerative health and business principles by putting them into action and putting them into my organization and putting them into my company and getting to speak to them and educate about them.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. And there's a couple things that you said that really spoke out to me about like living in this state of overflow, because I feel like so many people are living like just to make ends meet or barely scrimping by on their health, and we're just like living to get by. Whereas I have this dream and this vision that in an ideal world we would all be living in this space of overflow, so that we really were empowered and excited to live our mission and our dreams and our individual paths. But I feel like so many people get sucked into the systems that aren't serving them, aren't serving the planet, because they have to, and there's really no other routes. And so I'm curious, like for people who are listening, how do you see the current business model that we're part of, and the business, the superfood social community that we're part of? How is that creating overflow in your own personal life? And maybe, the people you're working with, have you seen more overflow come to them?
I love this question. Thanks, Mary. Yeah, so I think it's the dynamic of it. I mean, we're working in a collaborative way. We're working together, and many hands make light work. Whereas before, when I was just a solo entrepreneur doing all of the work, I could share my message with a very small amount of people. And now I have this huge ripple effect where so many people are echoing these regenerative principles and sharing them. And it's due to the collaborative nature of our business, where we're working to support each other and uplift each other and not do it all on our own. And that has led to a lot of overflow in my life and in the people's lives that I'm working with. One of the ways that translates is into more time freedom. Working with so many people towards a common vision allows me to have way more time freedom. It also allows me to make a way bigger impact, creating these solutions for health and for the environment and for making an income that has an impact. And then it also just allows for an overflow and abundance in the income as well, because again, it's the business model, well, where you're working together in order to make things happen. So time freedom, location independence, community, mission, purpose, working with my favorite people in the world, creating new relationships with people that I never would have met had it not been for this business and this community. And it's bringing us all together in our deeper passions. So we're our own bosses, we are the creators of our lives, we're our own CEOs. And yet we're able to utilize this platform for our deeper mission. And that looks different per person. Like mine is definitely this regenerative emphasis, because that's what I'm so passionate about. But other people, they're able to weave it into their life and really deeply fulfill their deeper passions and use this as a platform to get that out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, beautiful. And so what would you say is most alive for you in your business right now?
I would say the disruptive innovation piece, where you're creating a positive impact and change, and through business, being able to create an economically viable way to create positive change in the world. Like that is what lights me up. And I think there's some great examples of businesses that have done that and people that are doing that. But having that leverage where you're creating economic freedom and you're doing it in a way that's benefiting the planet and the people, also gives you, and you're making an income, gives you an opportunity to make larger change, larger vision, like the ex-CEO of North Face and such, buying up so much land down in Patagonia and giving it to the government in order to create preserves. This comes from working hard, but working in a really positive way, where then you can, everybody's got a different dream, a different vision, but those are the things that light me up. Like you and I, we have the same parents, we were raised in the same way, similar values. We grew up in a beautiful place that instilled this value of nature in us at a really young age. And it's still my guiding light. Like, nature and the environment is my guiding light, is what I'm most passionate about. So working in ways that are in alignment with nature, that are in alignment with our deeper potential, and that is a win-win-win situation for everyone. Like, that's what I care about.
Yeah, we all rise together.
Yeah.
So if someone wants to collaborate with you and potentially be part of your regenerative business, like, how do they do that?
Yeah, just get in touch, connect, and we can see what is in alignment with you, what you're working towards personally, what your goals are. We have an amazing platform that's helping with health and with wealth, So there's a lot of segues in which this can really work with people. And it's something that people can do on the side. It's not something that you have to dedicate a ton of time to, but it's something that you can move into it being your full-time job, joy of being, if you want it to be, So just reach out and connect with Mary or I. And that's how to get started, is just initial conversation, figuring out what's in alignment with you, figuring out what your goals are, figuring out what are some of the problems that you're looking to solve in your own life or in your community's life,
Cool. And so people can get in touch with you at Rita Jean on it.
Yeah, on Instagram, I'm @_Rita Jean.
Okay, beautiful. And then my last question for you before we head off is, I know that we have this amazing, we're doing our first ever virtual business retreat via Instagram. So I was wondering if you wanted to share with our audience and just touch on that a little bit. Like, what is it? What are you excited about for it? And
yeah. Yeah, definitely. So this month, November, we've been doing a virtual health retreat, and that's been so fun because we've been offering, superfoods and meditation and mindfulness and yoga, and just bringing people together as a community to really transform our own health and our community and collective health. Lots and lots of support around that, including around like multi-generational trauma healing and cellular healing. And so that's really fun. And then the other side of it, this December, we're actually going to be sharing a business virtual retreat. So it's how can you be successful in business, having your own online platform, and getting healthy. So we're really going to go into mindset and coaching and regenerative business, working in collaboration, all of these things, so that we can be successful in ways that are in alignment with our values and alignment with our deeper vision, goals, passion, purposes, potential, and uplift each other to each kind of be that expression, that creative vessel or expression that we're all meant to be.
yay, beautiful.
So,
And oh, go ahead.
oh no, go ahead.
I'm just going to say, if anyone wants to check out the details, you can just go to @superfood.social and check out the details on the business retreat, or, reach out to Rita, reach out to myself. We're happy to share. We're actually doing these giveaways. Do you want to touch on that a little bit, Rita?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. So we're going to be sharing one of the pieces that's really transformational in our business is our 30-day health transformations. And that's working with superfoods that are grown in regenerative soils. We're supporting organic and regenerative farmers. And then that goes through every level. It's just really supportive. I won't break down the whole program, but supporting with sleep, digestion, energy, hormone regulation, deep cellular nourishment, getting the body alkaline. Those are some of the components of it. Getting strong, really rebuilding the brain and the nervous system and the muscles. So that we're giving one of those away with our free business opportunity. And the business opportunity includes mentorship and training from myself, from Mary, from our hired experts in our field, and just community and collaboration. So it's really powerful. There's so much support, there's so much education. And basically, what I've gotten through this training is tens and thousands of dollars of free business coaching, so that's also what comes with it, is community and coaching and support. And one of the things that I'm loving about the internet right now and about like online avenues for business and connecting is we're kind of forced to move that direction right now. And so it allows us to have community at a time where a lot of people are looking for answers and who are struggling either in so many ways, either have been let go of work or are at home with the kids homeschooling and not able to do their regular jobs. So this is creating a huge solution for so many people in those ways. But also it also levels out the playing field. So when you're working with an online platform, there's not it takes away that segregation and that separation of what your education was or your background was. Um, some of the systemic racism issues that we're dealing with, it kind of opens up the playing field for anyone to be involved and connect into, regardless of background, regardless of education, regardless of gender, regardless of ethnicity. So that's what I'm loving about the online platform, is it's creates an avenue to really open up in the playing fields and really support what we want to support, and really change that culture to break down some of these systemic issues.
Yeah. And then just like in the soil, the most diverse soils are the healthiest soils. The most diverse businesses are the regenerative businesses. So it definitely all plays a part. Well, awesome, Rita.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to learn. I know you're going to be one of the facilitators for the business retreat. So I'm really excited to continue to learn from you. And thank you, sister, for taking your time. And I wish I could put you through the phone.
You too. Oh, love you. Thank you so
Love you.
much. Thanks
Thank
for introducing me to this beautiful platform and community. And it's just helping me to thrive as an individual, with my own gifts and what I'm passionate about, but also creating a larger change. So appreciate you. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for inspiring me every day. Love you.
Love you too. Bye.
Bye. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.